Big things are expected in Bandera. Hello, everybody. Terry Bennett here on the inaugural episode of the Coconut Cowboys Bandera Coaches Show right here on S2S Sports, part of L4 Media. And if you notice, I didn't say football show. Now, this will be a football coaches show, but we'll also do a couple episodes of volleyball and possibly a couple episodes of basketball. So that's why this is just a coaches show and not specifically a football show, all made part by our title sponsor, Coconut Cowboys. Of course, they're located right there in Bandera at 410 Main Street. Get all your espresso, frozen yogurt, your coffee, your pretzels, your candy. They have a gift shop, boba teas. They even do vacation rentals. Reminds me of a show that I'm a big fan of called Corner Gas, and it's a Canadian show, and it's a very, very small town. So inside the town where Corner Gas is, there's a guy that owns the liquor store, but he also sells insurance out of the liquor store. I don't know why that's what made me think of, but we do appreciate Coconut Cowboys for being the title sponsor for the season. And part of that is he wanted to be able to do some other sports. Spotlight the football team, but also give a spotlight to the volleyball team. And then I happen to know the head coach of the Bandera basketball team. So I was like, okay, if we're going to do that, well, then we might as well have a couple episodes with the basketball coach. So that's what we're going to be doing. So this is going to be football focus, but we're also going to have a couple of other cool episodes, and some of those might even be in video. We're just going to have a blast doing the Bandera Coaches Show. And I'm going to have a blast talking each and every week to the Bandera football coach, Coach Joe Fontenot Amity. Talked to him during Coaches School. We had an interview with Coach during Coaches School, put up on our YouTube channel. And that's where we decided, hey, let's do this. Let's have a weekly show, because I really think Bandera is going to do some good things in 4A Division II. And we'll get to talk about it each and every week right here. And if you've never listened to one of our coaches shows, the way we basically do this is it's kind of a review preview, where each week we'll talk last week's results, and then we'll preview the game that's coming up on the end of that week. We'll also talk other things as we learn a little bit more about the inner workings of the Bandera football program and just how the season is developing. We'll check in on the JVs, the junior highs, all that fun stuff. And it's going to be a real fun time, and I do hope that you enjoy the show and you listen to us each and every week, which, by the way, if you found this like through social media, through a share, you can listen each week on any podcast platform. Just type in S2S Sports. You can also find it online at S2SSport.com, on our Facebook page, Sideline to Sideline, on our Twitter, at Grant and Terry, among other places. Again, it will be spread out through each and every week. We'll try to record these on a schedule of Wednesday mornings. Sometimes that can change. Coaches' schedules change. I'm doing a bunch of these, so when one coach's schedule changes, sometimes I have to move others around, but it'll all get figured out. And by week 3 or 4, usually we've got a really good pattern down. And I've already talked to Coach earlier this week, and wonderful interview. This is going to be a great inaugural show. So I'm not going to waste any of your time. We're going to take a break. When we come back, it is the head coach of the Bandera Bulldogs, Coach Joe Fontenot Amity, right here on the Bandera Coaches Show, brought to you by Coconut Cowboys on the S2S Sports Network, part of L4 Media. Is your demanding work lifestyle in need of fire-resistant clothing that can keep up? Well, L4FR clothing should be your go-to for quality, affordability, safety, and style. L4FR was founded by a third-generation oil field worker who is also a veteran. Thus, this company has a deep appreciation for reliability and longevity, all while we provide first-rate customer service. Our durable apparel will serve you well for many years to come, whether you're working on a pipeline, a lineman climbing utility poles, or in any other environment requiring fire-resistant apparel. L4FR has you covered. Our apparel is tough enough to resist hazardous conditions while still providing high comfort and style. L4FR provides clothing options to ensure your safety and comfort, whether you're on the job or not. To view our complete inventory of flame-resistant garments, please visit our online store at L4FRclothing.com or give us a call at 817-757-4935. Terry Bennett back here on the Coconut Cowboys Bandera Coaches Show. I messed up when I did the phone call with Coach Amity. I don't know. Something happened. I had a brain pause. I'll use the word pause. And I didn't do the intro correctly. coming back out of the break, a little peel back the curtain. Usually you tell the coach, all right, here we go, 5, 4, 3, 2. And then I come into the show. And for some reason I didn't with him. We were having so much fun just talking football and stuff. So here is the head coach of the Bandera Bulldogs, Coach Joe Fontenot-Amity, on S2S Sports. All right, Coach, let's break it down. First game of the season against Poteet on the road. Last year, you lost to them. I've been asking coaches this on these shows. How much do you go back and look at last year's film?
Well, I don't know if Poteet's listening, but we watch a lot, man. And we've played these guys 3 years in a row, so I've watched 3 years worth of film on them religiously, I'd say.
All right, so what is your thoughts on them?
Well, it's hard to know because they've got a new head coach over there, and so it's hard to know exactly. And everybody's trying to create their identity through the first couple scrimmages and games. So, man, they've got some good pieces, particularly up front offensively. They've got it looks like they don't wear numbers in scrimmages, but it looks like they've got some pretty good guys up front. They like to run behind, and they've got some unique offensive formations and. Offensively speaking, and then defensively, they've got a good returning inside linebacker and some guys in the secondary and up front that are pretty good. So it should be a good matchup.
All right, after 2 scrimmages, how are you feeling about your Bulldogs?
Man, I'm feeling pretty good. Again, the scrimmage season is just, can we get out healthy and get to that first game? It's kind of like pre-district. You want to win them all, and those things each time we go out to play, we want to win, but as important is coming out of that thing healthy. And the old saying, you can't win a scrimmage, but you can sure lose one, holds true. I feel good about our team. Our kids care about each other, and they're going to play hard, and it's going to be a fun season.
You bring up a good point about non-district. There used to be a time where teams would kind of schedule, either they just scheduled teams around them because it was just easier, or they scheduled weaker teams and popped up the record. Now you're seeing, though, more and more teams are scheduling tougher and tougher teams, but you're also seeing where they understand that non-district is about getting ready for district. For you as a coach, how much do y'all install of everything in non-district, or is that something that's a week-to-week thing?
Man, that is the question, and that's the question. It's one of those questions, man. That's phenomenal because it's something you discuss with. I discuss with my coordinators, like, hey, how much do we want to show? What do we need to put in? What do we want to say for this district opponent? Or I think at a certain point, it really just comes down to, if you want to be good at something, you got to do it. And so there's an identity we'll establish offensively and defensively, and there's little wrinkles that will come for an opponent. And that changes. That part changes week to week. But the basic identity of who we are, we're trying to figure that out through non-district play. And so I don't know if that really answers your question, Terry, but that's kind of what I think about it.
Well, you talk about who you are, and we talked a little bit at Coach's School during the interview and stuff, and we talked about Bandera now. Y'all went from a program that was kind of the underdog and a good story to where now y'all have a target on your back, and I think a fair target because you have the talent coming back. As a coach, is it different coaching, as they say, out in front than it is when you're coaching every game where you're just trying to get the underdog, the coaches speak and all that? Is there a big difference?
Man, I think I don't know, man. I think that the difference is what you make it. A lot of it, whether you're playing ahead or playing behind or there's expectations or not, a lot of it is just noise, and it comes down to the kids and your program. And so we haven't been in a situation where we've had a whole lot of games where we're favored since 2019 late in the season. So I guess my answer would be that it's more about our kids and getting those guys better every day. And that doesn't change regardless of whether you're favored or not.
For the Bulldogs, going from week 1 to where you're in district in October, I think y'all's first game is Pearsall. What do you want to see this team improve on the most?
I want to know we can run the football and stop the run. That's it. And point blank period. If we can line up, we can run the football and get the yards we need to when we need to, and then we can stop the run when we need to. If we can do that by the time we play Pearsall, it ought to be a good season.
Kind of funny how even in a quarterback era, it's still all about running the ball and stopping the run when it comes down to it.
Yes, sir. In our district, it does. I promise you.
Is your demanding work lifestyle in need of fire-resistant clothing that can keep up? Well, L4FR clothing should be your go-to for quality, affordability, safety, and style. L4FR was founded by a third-generation oil field worker who is also a veteran. Thus, this company has a deep appreciation for reliability and longevity, all while we provide first-rate customer service. Our durable apparel will serve you well for many years to come, whether you're working on a pipeline, a lineman climbing utility poles, or in any other environment requiring fire-resistant apparel. L4FR has you covered. Our apparel is tough enough to resist hazardous conditions while still providing high comfort and style. L4FR provides clothing options to ensure your safety and comfort, whether you're on the job or not. To view our complete inventory of flame-resistant garments, please visit our online store at l4frclothing.com or give us a call at 817-757-4935. Si habla español. Terry Bennett back here on the Bandera Coaches Show. Once again, I do want to thank the head coach, Joe Fontenot Amity, for joining me here, as he will each and every week here on this Coaches Show, brought to you by Coconut Cowboys. And it's interesting because, you know, last year the Bulldogs went 8-3 and they lost this game. And Poteet won, you know, pretty convincingly. But by the end of the year, completely different type of Bandera team. Even the very next week, I mean, you know, Bandera went on a 6-game winning streak before they lost to Divine in the second game in district, beat Robstown. So it'll be interesting to see how this year. I do think Poteet. I mean, Bandera is probably the favorite this week, and that's something that I talked about on the show. How will Bandera respond with kind of having more of a target on their back? You know, the last few years, when you look at what they've done and that slow climb, 2018 2-7, then you had the 8-3, but then you answered back in that weird 2020 year, the COVID year of 0-9, but then 6-5 and 8-3, and with 16 returning starters back or 15 returning starters back. And so, how will they respond with teams actually gunning for them? It'll be an interesting look. I'm telling you, man, we said this on Sideline to Sideline, which, of course, you can hear each and every week as Grant Goodwin and I talk all things Class 4A, also a 3A and a 2A show. That's at s2sgrantandterry.com and all podcast platforms. But we talked about in our Big R's preview show that, man, Bandera is a team I could easily see being, once again, a 9-3 team, an 8-3 team, or a team playing, for a chance to go to the region championship. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun show. And if you have any questions, thoughts, or comments, you can email them to me, Terry at s2ssport.com. And if I feel that they're going to fit that week's show, then I'll definitely read them. Don't send emails asking why don't y'all do this more, or you need to do that more, or play Johnny Boy, or my cousin Jimmy Joe. Don't do that, please. Ask good questions. Ask good questions. I'll play them on the air. We do want to thank again our title sponsor, Coconut Cowboy, located at 410 Main Street in Bandera. Now, go in there and check out the cool banner. It's a banner that talks about how they're the title host of the Bandera Coaches Show. Not football, Coaches Show, because, again, we're going to do volleyball. We're going to do all that fun stuff. And we'll start doing all that next week, as this has been the Bandera Bulldog Coaches Show, brought to you by Coconut Cowboys on the S2S Sports Network, part of L4 Media.